Hey there. Today I'm going to talk about dwelling types. I'm going to talk about a particular scenario here in Arizona with a certain type of dwelling, and then I'm going to talk about another scenario. These are real life scenarios, by the way, in Georgia that we're currently working on. This conversation really did just happen, and I felt just compelled to share it with you in case you have buyers that are purchasing in Sun City or Sun City West. So here's what happened. We received a referral from a real estate agent late on a Friday, and she has a buyer who's already under contract and purchasing a house in Sun City West. Now, he's already pre-qualified, so he's in the process with another lender, and all we know is that he's dissatisfied. So that can mean a lot of things. It can mean maybe that his loan was denied, or maybe there was, something that came up. Maybe the loan officer isn't returning their phone calls. It could be a million different things. But in this case, once we spoke with the buyer, here's what happened. And I have heard this story time and time again. So heads up, if you are getting ready to list a property in Sun City or Sun City West, or you are representing a buyer that is purchasing properties in Sun City or Sun City West, there's a unique dwelling type in that area called a Gemini twin. And the complexity of a Gemini twin is in those areas in particular, and I'm sure in other areas across the country, the legal description of that dwelling would indicate that the property is a condominium. So when this buyer was going through the pre-qualification process with a big online lender that was out of state, they were quoting him based on a single family attached dwelling. So all the interest rate and terms, cost of mortgage insurance, everything else was based on that. He goes under contract, they disclose to him, they lock in the interest rate based again on this single family attached because they don't have the insight to know the uniqueness of that type of dwelling, i.e. the Gemini twin in Sun City West. And once they receive the title report from the title company, it indicates and reflects the legal description. Now the lender at this point says, oh no, this is a condo, and Mr. Buyer, your terms change. And your terms change pretty dramatically in his scenario. So now he's upset. The reason I share this with you is if you are working with a lender that understands dwelling types in Sun City and understands that that is truly the fact, that the legal description for Gemini twin very well may look like it says horizontal regime or indicate in some level that it is a condominium. It's important to know that there are state statutes, at least here in Arizona, that protect or grandfather in these dwelling types where lenders don't classify them as condos. But again, you have to have a lender that understands that particular area, that dwelling type. So for us, we're treating it as a single family attached because we understand what the history of Sun City and Sun City West. We understand that dwelling type, and it's just unique. It's a nuance. It's just something that you don't see often. So fortunately, he has plenty of time. We jumped in. We're going to be able to help him. But I'm sharing this with you just so you have some knowledge. If you're working with an out-of-state lender and you're working in Sun City or Sun City West and you're not quite sure if they understand the Gemini twin type of dwelling, how are they going to treat it? Because if they're going to treat it like a condominium, that could impact the terms for the buyer, and it could impact the transaction getting to close of escrow, even if you're the listing agent, because things are going to change if they don't have that awareness. Again, based on what the conversation is with the buyer, the terms that they're quoting, are they going to take this through a traditional condo review process when in fact it's not a condo? I mean, it's just, everything is different when a property or a dwelling is truly a condo. Now, for those of you that are not in Arizona, maybe you're, in Vermont, or you're in Texas, or you're in California, the point of this video is that there are areas, there are subdivisions that are very nuanced, meaning that it's just not mainstream. So for example, right now we have a Barndominium in Georgia that we're helping do financing with a particular buyer and their agent out there. Ironically, this too was another buyer that had started the process with another lender and got stuck based on the dwelling type. So this is really more about just understanding and working with a lender that's got that strategic kind of mindset or cap that can dive deep into the dwelling type matters. It matters based on the loan type that the lender is using for that particular buyer. It matters in so many different ways. So yes, is credit score important? It is. Is credit profile important? Yes. Income, assets, all the things that you would think about from a lending perspective. But that property type is as important, because however it is defined, will the lender lend on it? And do they understand it? And do they understand the lending guidelines in relation to the dwelling type? So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Call or text 480-725-0150.